They come back thinking now they are big. They don't see us, but also we also fear them because we don't know if they have got some weird diseases to give us. So we are in a very difficult situation. We have no girls. The few girls we have were taken by the big bosses, promising them big positions. But you see, we are not sleeping. We have also got a solution. As they are busy deceiving our girls, their women are also sending us messages. And we've been hesitant to reply to these messages, but now we are getting a second thought because the party has no girls. And those ones, the bigger bosses have taken, we are fearing them. So now we shall go for their wives. Actually, someone told us that the wives of the DP officials think that these younger boys have a lot of manpower. And indeed we have it. So as they are deceiving our girls with money and positions, we are also going to deceive their women with manpower. Don't quote me wrong. I'm not saying that DP officials have no manpower. No. But sometimes I wonder if they really had the manpower, would their women be texting us? So that is how we are going to handle that issue. But I'm sorry for my friend, my president, Bunge Mike. The ballots were tallied. The man won. And that's why the tally center was put in the bedroom. And when the time came for announcement, because he had nothing to serve the party officials, they gave the one who has something to offer. That is the rot within the Democratic Party. The party is breeding. It is a sexual hub. You have nothing sexually to offer, you cannot sit on neck. Now what shall we do? Because we are not homosexuals, that we shall guard offer ourselves to the party bosses. The Electoral Commission should wake up. Because these things have not been here. DP is a lost cause. I've been inside, I'm telling you. I resigned, I refused to talk to the media. People didn't know why. But because I realized people may not understand me. But now is the time. Justice Byabakama, wake up before we come for you. I thank you so much.
Our grievances, as far as the Electoral Commission is concerned, we are addressing the failure by the Electoral Commission to address the DP petitions regarding the Mbarara fraud. I believe everybody knew what happened, what transpired in Mbarara as far as the Democratic Party Delegates Conference is concerned. So we had petitions before the Delegates Conference, during the Delegates Conference, and after the Delegates Conference. But up to now, we have not got any response so far. So it is the issue which we are addressing today. Following the fraudulent DP Delegates Conference held in Mbarara last month, the Commission received over 10 petitions from aggrieved DP leaders and district chairpersons requesting for its intervention as the regulator of political parties to address the impasse in the party. So far here we have around 8 petitions which I have tried to gather. This is the first petition which was written to the Electoral Commission regarding the issues in Mbarara. This is the other petition which was written by Honorable Sebamala regarding the elections of the Democratic Party. This is the third one written to the Electoral Commission, but still no response. Now this one came after the Delegates Conference from Honorable Alitia, and it was also received by the Electoral Commission. This one, it was by the district chairpersons all together who had actually issues with the Delegates Conference, and many other copies as will be shared by members of the press. So even before the Mbarara fraud, DP members had petitioned the EC not to gazette amendments in the DP constitution that were filed based on forged resolutions that were never discussed in the previous Gulu Delegates Conference, in contravention with Article 15, Section 3, Subsection B of the Political Parties and Organizations Act. EC or the Electoral Commission paid a deaf ear, and the Delegates Conference went on, organized based on a fraudulent constitution, and indeed became one of the most fraudulent elections in Ugandan history. We now have reliable information from credible sources that the Electoral Commission is under pressure from higher authorities, especially the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, to throw all the DP petitions in the air dustbin without any fair hearing. The same illegitimate DP leadership has gone ahead to call for applications of those wishing to contest on DP ticket without being gazetted and extorting money from candidates whom they will later throw out without any reason after eating their money, just like it happened in Mbarara. All this is happening under the watchful eye of the Electoral Commission. We are increasingly getting worried of the kind of the country we are yet to inherit, but most especially the type of election the so-called Independent Electoral Commission is yet to organize, if it can be intimidated on small DP issues. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, when we were in Mbarara, most of the people applied for different positions and they were put away from the register without knowing. And after the Delegates Conference, members' petitions that I've shown you here. But EC has actually not minded about our issues. Now the same illegitimate leaders, they are calling for applications of the DP candidates, more so the members of parliament. And they are going to use the same scenario which was in Mbarara. They can deny anyone a party ticket. They can do anything without even without hearing anybody as far as the elections are concerned. And it is what we are trying to petition the Electoral Commission. This is like a precedence. Once the Electoral Commission continues to keep quiet, it's like now they are telling us that actually what happened in Mbarara, any other political party can do it. You can call for applications, then throw away people's applications without even hearing them. You can do whatever you want. So once they set that precedence, the same precedence will now go to the national elections. So we are wondering, is that what the Electoral Commission is entertaining in 2026? Is that what we should expect from the 2026 elections in Uganda? In light of the above, therefore, we hereby issue an ultimatum of 7 days to the Electoral Commission to expedite the process of hearing the DP petitions, failure of which we shall not take the blame of our next course of action. On that note, therefore, we are calling upon the Electoral Commission to be independent as it calls itself, so that it can address DP issues independently without fear or favor. We are calling upon the Electoral Commission to do this in 7 days from today. And once the 7 days elapse, don't blame us. On that very note, we are calling upon all the DP members who are aggrieved to be on standby. All the party members who are aggrieved with the Mbarara Delegates Conference, be on standby. After the 7 days, we shall be telling you what we are going to do next. Those who are happy with what happened in Mbarara, please continue with your work. But for us, we're only addressing those who are aggrieved, more so those who actually wrote these petitions to the Electoral Commission. As members of the Uganda Young Democrats, we have decided now to take on the charge of reclaiming our party, Democratic Party. We shall not listen, we shall not tolerate the issues of Electoral Commission when it is just not minding about our businesses, yet constitutionalism, rule of law, fundamental human rights are being violated in the Republic of Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, what we see happening in the political parties, it is what we expect as a result in the national politics. So once the Electoral Commission continues to step back on the issues of democracy, on the issues of the fundamental human rights, on the issues of constitutionalism and rule of law, then Ugandans should not expect much as far as the 2026 elections. On that note, therefore, as I give my friends to come in, we are kindly requesting the Electoral Commission. This is a kind reminder, because the first petition was written in April. This is actually enough time to at least to intervene in our issues. So if you don't act in 7 days, then don't blame us. Blame yourself for inactiveness and failure to act in time. Thank you so much. Let me call upon my friend Mpunge.
That they don't know what transpired. We have written petitions. Honorable Kiria here has shown to you all of this, and we are sharing with you. Unfortunately, all that we have heaped in these petitions explains exactly what we want handled in Mbarara, how things were in Mbarara and how we want it to be handled. Unfortunately, Electoral Commission has paid a deaf ear. They have not done anything, not even writing back to acknowledge that yes, we are doing something about this. In case they have forgotten, let me use this opportunity to remind them that in Mbarara, the 13th National Delegates Conference, we had a lot of irregularities which should concern them as the supervisor and regulator of political parties. They have that mandate and they have that duty and responsibility to see that they do something in case things are going astray as regard the politics of this nation, and more so what the activities of the political parties. The Democratic Party members in Mbarara saw a lot of irregularities that included ballot stuffing, actually a very irregular, I don't want to call it an election, because even saying it was an irregular election qualifies it to be somehow an election. But what we had was far from that. I will get an English word for that and I get back to you, the media, and tell you about it. But it was far from being an election. We saw people voting multiple times. We saw that there was no proper accreditation or a process where you're going to see that the members who are going to vote in the register are accredited properly, except just presenting yourself and going. There was no way you would confirm that either this person has voted or not. There was quite a lot of issues. We all saw on national television, and we had it all over, and we also saw it, that members were forced to vote from one place, and then at the time of counting votes, they carried the boxes and took them to a place which was private, a hotel room, and no one was allowed there. A few who were able to get there, like myself, we had to force our way inside that hall, which they called the tally center. Now, in that tally center, we did not have anything called tally. We tallied about only 3 boxes. That was the box of the Uganda Young Democrats, where I was a candidate, and we tallied in front of whoever was there. However, it was restricted to a few. I also forced my way. Now, when we were tallying, I was able to win. I polled 486 votes against my opponent, who had 460 votes. We tallied, and it was recorded. The box of the president of the Women League was also tallied. Another box was that of the sub-regional representative from Ensonga. It was also tallied. Now, all these other positions where we had the SG Kiria, where we had other members, because the boxes were about 16 boxes, and all those were not tallied. What they did, Ken Mutenyo brought volunteers who were supporting the sham electoral commission of Democratic Party, and what they decided was to go in a corner and tally. We thought that maybe they were going to sort these votes and then come and we tally together. All they did was to tally by themselves, as they told us to wait. As we waited, of course, under too much security, it was like a joint security meeting where we had ISO, we had the UPDF, we had the SFC, we had the police, and all these other security forces, which were, these guys requesting us to keep calm, but in actual sense forcing us not to do anything about whatever was going. In the evening, Mr. Mutenyo came back to us and said that we are done with the tally. And now I'm going to present the results. The only boxes they brought was a box of the President General, and it was already sorted, and all they did was to count for us. So candidates and delegates of the Democratic Party were not given a chance to be part of the tallying or even to witness. So where is the transparency? And if an election has no transparency, does it really bring about that legitimacy? Is it really an election if the candidates themselves have not participated in this? After doing that, they only told us the results. We went for the press conference where they did the declarations. Unfortunately, the declarations were then contrary to what we had tallied for the boxes we tallied. That is the 3 boxes I told you. And then lastly, the one of the President, where they just brought already sorted ballot papers and they started counting. It is at that moment they announced figures which were not corresponding to those we tallied inside that study center. And that way, they announced a different person as a president of the Uganda Young Democrats when I had won that election. And I won, and that is why I'm still here speaking as the president of the UID. Having looked at all these irregularities, plus many others, we petitioned the Electoral Commission, and we told them to come and give guidance and do something about all these irregularities. There are also quite a number of irregularities. I just wanted to remind them of the few so that they get to know. We don't want excuses of that probably they were not aware or they had not read through the petitions. We wrote the petitions and we are adding a voice now. We are telling them what exactly transpired, and they need to interest themselves in doing something about this. We have issued an ultimatum, and we have told them that if they do not work on these petitions in 7 days, something bloody is coming. We are going to do something. We are going to go past that, writing and going in front of the media to tell them of our grievances. We are a representation of the many members of the Democratic Party who are aggrieved, of the many members of the UYD who feel that we are the seeds of democracy and we need to do something to see that democracy flourishes, not just in our party, Democratic Party, but in Uganda as a country. And we are committed to that. We are doing that. We were coming to the Electoral Commission and telling them, please do something about this, or else something is about to burst. So that is our message to this. I want to thank you, and I will, of course, give my colleagues. Yes.
Tetuvudde tubayita bannamawulire bannange tunyumyemu eggwanga literere wulira emmeeme nnuma tuyimbe ffenna numira ttivi yange tetuvudde tubayita bannamawulire bannange tunyumyemu eggwanga literere. Basabo ne banyabo, ladies and gentlemen of the press, my name is Julius Dumba. I was among the 5 people that picked forms to contest for the position of President General, Democratic Party. I picked the nomination forms, but I failed. I didn't fail. I refused absolutely to return them.
I didn't understand that.
Why? because I saw the process that was manned by people who had conflict of interest, that it won't yield the results that the principles of Democratic Party stand. Because in Democratic Party we must uphold democracy to its level base. I didn't return the forms just because I saw further into the 30th, the NDC that happened on the 30th of May. By doing so, after denying to return, I wrote a petition. This is the petition I wrote through my lawyers. This is SK and partners. I wrote it to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. I outlined a number of issues that needed to be addressed before we went in for the NDC. These issues were not answered. The Electoral Commission, being the supervisory body of all political parties, it didn't even respond even a sentence to what I wrote. It is not only me that wrote. Before I wrote, the Honorable Rumu Richard wrote, the Honorable Sebamara wrote, the Honorable Alicia wrote, all the deputy chairpersons wrote, because we didn't know how they came to get the 1,600 delegates that were in Marara. When the Electoral Commission didn't respond, we said, okay, let's go to the NDC. When we went there, the country, as my colleagues have said, we witnessed a very fraudulent election that has never happened in the history of political parties in Uganda. And still, the Electoral Commission is looking on. These people went on, they brought security operatives, they meddled into the internal politics of the party, and people were watching. Byabakama was watching. Honorable Byabakama, being a professional advocate, a lawyer, and the head of the Electoral Commission must be in position to know that what transpired before the NDC of 30th and the events of the NDC were not in line with all the laws of the land, be it the Political Parties Organization Act or be it the Constitution of Uganda, because the Constitution of Uganda vests the power of elections, of democracy in the people. We didn't exercise that. The leaders that are now imposing themselves onto us, they imposed themselves onto us. We didn't vote for them. I'm calling upon Justice Byabakama, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. I tell you, one philosopher said, Martin Luther King Jr., he said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If we witnessed injustice by the body that is going to supervise the biggest election ever this year, and it failed to acknowledge and work on the issues of just a mere political party of Democratic Party, how about when all the parties, I've seen many political parties mushrooming, they are coming out, there are very many now. How are you going to handle over 15 political parties when they are contesting in the same field? When the only Democratic Party, you have failed to address the issues that the members raised and petitioned before you. Is it because that the Honorable Minister, Honorable Mao, is the supervisor of the Electoral Commission, that is sitting onto your heads, giving directives? Of recent, Mao told Byabakama, no, look here, don't disperse those funds. A directive, a statutory instrument. How could you issue a statutory instrument, yet you are a party of such? You are a president of the Democratic Party. You're telling Byabakama, don't give people funds. It is under the law. Political parties have to get the funds. But you're here, you're saying, even if you are not a member of IPOD, you will get the funds. What are they working upon? Honorable Byabakama, we call upon you to act in your capacity as the Electoral Commission boss. Do not be subdued by the Honorable Mao. Of recent, we saw Honorable Mao, you know, some philosopher, Lord Atton said, he said, power tends to corrupt, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now, Norbert Mao assumes he has absolute power, is corrupting everyone, even the Justice Byabakama. Of recent, he was in Acholi. He was in Acholi translating for His Excellency, for Museveni. How will you handle the conflict of interest? You're the minister, you're translating for the president, you're the translator. We are stealing a wheelbarrow, which the Honorable Mao said of recent that when you go and work with Museveni, he will push you as a wheelbarrow. Now he's being pushed. And remember, he is imposing himself as the leader of the Democratic Party. We are not